Frustration is growing on prairie farms.
I don't like being a sacrificial lamb in our trade policy. I would really like to be treated the same as other industries in Canada.
Canadian canola, collateral damage in a multi-front trade war between Canada, the U.S., and China.
Let's see the federal government step up with the same supports that you've seen for the steel industry, for the auto industry, and for the lumber industry.
Fueling age-old complaints that when it comes to what happens on the farm, Ottawa doesn't care.
And I think it's just this general frustrated feeling of enough is enough.
Are these all full?
Mostly, yes.
Dean Roberts farms near Kindersley, Saskatchewan. He runs it with his dad, his uncle, and his cousin. His kids helped get this crop in the bin.
Every 10 years we get one crop that should really help move the farm forward. And this should have been that crop.
It was that good, eh?
It was that good.
So that's all canola.
That is all canola.
Canola seed.
Canola seed. You'll see it's got low green count, good bushel weight. There's a nice oil content to it. It's a really nice crop this year.
So that should make you a lot of money.
Well, that would be the goal.
Canola is what's known as a cash crop, the kind that brings in profit to keep farms in business. More than 40,000 Canadian farmers harvest canola, an industry that supports 200,000 jobs and contributes more than $40 billion to the Canadian economy. At least, it usually does.
Ideally, this bin would be half gone by now, but the market's closed. Nobody's that interested in buying it right now.
Problem is, prices are low because China, the second biggest market for Canadian canola, has essentially shut Canada out.
You know, when I picked farming as a career, I anticipated dealing with drought, grasshoppers, hailstorms. Those were things that I was prepared to deal with on my risks to my operation. Geopolitics was not something that crossed my mind. As I'm planning for next year's crop, trying to anticipate the actions of the Chinese government just feels ridiculous as a farmer.
Here's how we got here. Just over a year ago, Canada, following the United States and Europe, put 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs, all to support the North American auto industry. The reason? Cheap Chinese cars could flood the market. China fought back, targeting Canadian agriculture. In March, imposing a 100% tariff on Canadian canola oil and meal, and a few months later, an additional 75% duty on canola seeds.
It makes it very hard to encourage our kids to take over the family farm and get involved with farming when our farms may be sacrificed in trade policy.
You feel like your farm is being sacrificed?
Well, at this point, it's pretty challenging.
That frustration goes beyond one industry. What's happening with canola has intensified feelings that prairie farmers are being ignored.
Okay, back to the phone lines. I've got Cornell next out of Yorkton. What do you say, Cornell?
Evan Bray hears a lot of that. He's a talk radio host broadcasting across Saskatchewan, 4 hours a day, every weekday. It's a call-in show, and he's getting lots of calls about canola.
I'm going to say from the day that the canola tariffs were announced by China to where we are today, it's probably been 50 times plus.
He says farmers who call in see a pattern, pointing out it's not the first time China has targeted Canadian agriculture. In 2018, Canada arrested Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou at the request of the United States. China stopped buying Canadian canola seeds for 3 years, costing farmers and exporters billions.
So the ag sector tends to be the punching bag when Ottawa does something that China doesn't like. And I think it's just this general frustrated feeling of enough is enough. And that comes through loud and clear on our text line and our phone line.
What's making this situation even worse, these latest tariffs hit just before the trade war with the United States. Right now, Canada's auto industry is in crisis. Plants closing, jobs cut. China has been very clear, lose the EV tariffs and it will start buying Canadian canola again. But doing that would anger both Ontario and the unpredictable American president. Tough call.
So it is complicated, but there is this sense, again, to the average farmer sitting in their combine in Saskatchewan, there's one direction they tend to look when there's problems like this bubble up, and it tends to be to the east.
So Dean Roberts headed east himself, part of a delegation of canola farmers representing Sask Oilseeds. Tracy Broughton is the executive director.
We were meeting with pretty much anyone that would take a meeting with us this week.
She said everyone they met with was aware of the issue.
They are engaging with the Chinese government at the highest level. I mean, there are positive signals.
Ottawa recently announced interest-free loans for canola farmers. And then there's this. The Prime Minister met with Chinese President Xi Jinping a few weeks ago. Mark Carney said they discussed canola and EVs. Carney called it a turning point. Xi even invited the Prime Minister to China, something that hasn't happened since 2017.
So I think there are steps in the right direction. It's just a matter of making sure that this does not continue on for very much longer.
People listened, they heard our concerns, but ultimately we need action at this point.
Because right now he has decisions to make.
Start pushing that probe down. 6 inches there.
These soil tests will tell him how much fertilizer he needs. But fertilizer is expensive, and it's tough to plan which crops to plant when there's little cash coming in.
Do you think the politicians understand the situation here, the decisions you have to make?
I think they certainly hear us, but I don't know if they understand us. If you haven't lived this reality, it is very difficult to understand.
Planting a crop is complicated at the best of times, and thanks to decisions far away, times right now are far from that.